Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, July the 3rd. Happy Independence Day tomorrow for everybody. Been on the water, well, last 7 days in a row. Do have today off. You had a last minute cancellation again. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays this month, but it seems like every Tuesday I get a last minute cancellation on Monday night. But whatever, been on the water this whole week, catching fish. The bite, actually, I think the bite's getting a little bit better. We've been catching a lot more bass this last week, and it's been a little bit better, a little bit stronger deep bite than we've had before. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 916.8 this morning, which is just a little bit below normal summer pool. Core's been running the water through, generating some electricity. Most of the lakes are at normal pool or just a little bit below, so unless we get some rain, I pretty much expect that to drop a little bit more over the next week or so. Water temperature, it's warmed right back up again. We had that 3 or 4 days of nice cooler temperatures, cooler nights. Had lowered our water temperature down to the low 80s. We're back to 85, 86 down by the dam. You get up into the rivers, you see 88, 89, 90. Up in the Kings, was up in the Kings one day last week, and we saw 91, 92 up around Sweetwater. So water's warm, but the fish are biting. We are catching quite a few fish. The deep bite has really turned on this past week. But if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake this weekend, a lot of good bites going on. I'm going to kind of sound like a broken record, but the bite has improved. You still want to have a topwater tied on first thing in the morning. A spook, a whopper plopper, a Sammy, a Yozuri popper, whatever your favorite topwater is, have it tied on. But that bite has been very sporadic. One day it'll be fantastic, the next day it'll be mediocre, and then you'll have a couple of days where you're only going to get 3 or 4 blow-ups. But you want to have it tied on. You want to get out there early, be on the water at your first spot by about 5:30 in the morning to really take advantage of the topwater bite. Once that topwater bite starts to wane off, usually by 6:15, 6:30. Some days, if you get a little cloud cover, it'll last till 7 or 7:30. But for the most part, you're looking at 6:15, 6:30. That's going to start to wane. You can switch up to a couple of different bites. We have still been catching them a little bit on the swim bait on both the Bass Pro Shops Speed Shad and 3-inch, or the Kitech in either 2.8 or 3.3. Rigging it on a 3/8 ounce head, open hook, and really we're catching them in the same locations that we're having topwater fish blow up on. A lot of points, a lot of pockets. It seems like the fish are relating a little bit more to gravel than they have been in the last few weeks. So on those shallow gravel points, anywhere from about 10 to 20 feet deep on the swim bait seems to be our best bite. You'll see the shad. If you see shad suspended down about 10 feet, definitely have a swim bait tied on, definitely throw it. Once that starts to slow down, you want to switch up to a drop shot. Catching a lot of fish on a drop shot right now. Shad shape worm, Yamamoto cut tail worm, the UV drop shot worm, and the Chompers drop shot worm. All those baits are working. Most of the fish we're catching have been out on those long gravel runouts or on gravel humps. Started to really catch them on gravel humps the last 2 or 3 days. So if you guys have some gravel humps you know of, good thing to go look for them. Most of the fish have been 25 to 36 feet deep, relating right to the bottom. You'll see a few up. If you see them up feeding on shad, make sure you reel up to them. But most of those fish have been on the bottom. And basically you'll see 1 or 2 on the bottom, you'll hook it, and the bottom will blow up. So you'll get a lot more bites once you find them. They are holding very tight to the bottom, especially later in the day. The later in the day it gets, the tighter to the bottom they're going to be. We have still been catching some on the Jewel Scuba Spoon and on the Dixie Jet Spoon. Seems like that bite is better if you go up the river than it is on the lower end, but we have been catching them on the spoon up there as well. So have a scuba spoon, have a Dixie Jet Spoon tied on, because you will catch some fish doing that. Go up into the Kimberling City area, again, topwater bite, spook, Sammy, Yozuri popper, whopper plopper, all those baits are working. And again, it's one day it's good, the next day it's not so good. So if you're going out, get out there early. Throw a topwater wherever you see them chasing shad. You should be able to catch a few doing that in the first hour, hour and a half. Once that slows down, swim bait bites working too. Bass Pro Speed Shad, Kitech 2.8 and 3.3 on a 3/8 ounce head, down about 10 to 15 feet, over 15 to 25 foot, even 30 foot deep. Just look for the shad. If you see shad down on your graph, make sure you're throwing a swim bait around that. Drop shot rig's been strong as well. Same baits, the shad shaped worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm and the chompers drop shot worm. Again, catching more fish on gravel than we are on trees, at least the last 3 or 4 days we have been. So look for those fish to be out on those gravel runouts or up on those gravel humps, anywhere from about 25 to 35 feet deep. They're going to be glued to the bottom. Drop it to the bottom and just work it. Get one to bite. The rest of the school get activated and catch 3 or 4 that way. Catching them on the spoon up there as well. Scuba spoon, Dixie jet spoon, same locations. On those gravel humps, on those gravel runouts, 25, 35 feet deep. Have that Dixie jet spoon tied on though. Yesterday we were out and it was about, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Had some fish busting about 50 yards from us. Threw the Dixie jet spoon out, just ripped it and killed it. Boom, caught one right off the bat. Nice 2.5 pound smallmouth. So keep that Dixie jet spoon laying on your deck. You can throw it a lot further than you can the top water, and they seem to bite it a lot better than a top water once the sun gets high. Go up into the James River. James has got a couple of different bites. Definitely have that top water tied on. Catching them on a spook, catching them on a Sammy, whopper plopper, Yozuri popper. All those are working first thing in the morning. And once that bite dies down, can catch them on the swim bait, the Bass Pro Speed Shad, the Kitech 2.8 and 3.3 on a 3/8 ounce head. You can catch them on a drop shot as well. Same sort of deal out on those gravel points, shad shaped worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, and the chompers drop shot worm. But we do have a couple of other bites that are working a little bit further up the James. Seems like you get from about 0.12 on up. Catching them really good on the jewel football jig up there as well. 5/8 ounce and 1/2 ounce have been my best 2 sizes. Green pumpkin candy, peanut butter and jelly, and the brown purple flash have all been good, matched up with a jewel J-tail. Fishing it out from about 15 to 25 feet deep on those gravel runouts, out on those gravel humps, just working it slow along the bottom. Catching some better fish doing that. Catching some fish on a big worm up there as well. 10-inch, 12-inch worm. I mentioned it last week. I hadn't been up and done it. Went up late in the week last week and fished some brush piles with a big worm. Caught some better quality fish. You're not going to catch a lot of fish up there doing it, but you will catch some better quality fish on a big worm in the deeper brush piles. Those brush piles that are 15 to 20, 25 foot deep. Catching some better fish doing that. I was throwing the UV 10-inch power worm, working pretty good, throwing it around those brush piles and just basically working it through. Texas rig it, throw it over the brush pile and work it through. Make sure you're lifting it over the limb and falling all the way back down. Most of my bites came when it was falling, so have heavy line and go through a big worm up there. You're catching a few doing that. And then a deep crankbait up there. Started catching them on the Strike King 6XD up there. Not a lot of bites on it, but we did catch some better quality fish on some of those deeper ledges up there, especially from about Cape Fair, pretty much all the way up to where Flat Creek comes in. Catching them on those deeper ledgy type banks. Not a lot of bites, but we did catch some better quality fish up there throwing the bigger crankbait. And that's kind of a timing issue. Sometimes you get up there and you just absolutely waylay them. The other times you'll get up there and your timing's a little bit off and you won't catch as many. But we did catch some up there last week on the big crankbait. So make sure you have that tied on if you're going to fish the James. Go up into the White River. Same bites are working in the White River. Have you a topwater tied on? Spook, Sammy, whopper plopper, Yozuri popper. Doesn't matter. Have one tied on for the first hour, hour and a half of the day. You'll see the shad busting. Chase them. The swim bait bite's still working too up there. Both the Bass Pro Speed Shad 3-inch and the Kitech 2.8, 3.3. Those are working on a 3/8 ounce head. Wherever you see those shads suspended down a little bit. Jewel Scuba Spoon was working really good for us up there on those gravel runouts, 25, 35 foot deep, right on the bottom, dropping it to the bottom and just basically ripping it up off of the bottom. Caught quite a few fish doing that. Seems like that bite's a little bit better earlier in the day, from let's say 8:30, 9 o'clock till about 10, and then they really don't seem to want to chase. Then we were switching up to a drop shot with either shad, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, chompers drop shot worm, and basically working the bottom over. And again, we're keying on those gravel points, gravel flats, anywhere from 25, 35 feet deep, working the bottom over. Most of the fish are right on the bottom. Haven't really caught them in the trees as well as I'd like to, as well as I expect to. I think over the next few weeks, once these shads start moving and get back into the creeks a little bit more, we will see the tree bites start to really pick off, and then start looking for those fish to be in the tops of those trees that top off around 25, 35 feet deep. And you'll be able to catch them on a drop shot or a spoon in the tops of the trees as well. And then the football jig bite, Jewel 5/8 ounce or half ounce in either green pumpkin candy, Okeechobee blue, and brown purple flash. Those are my 3 best colors up the James, matched up with a J-tail. Looking for those fish to be anywhere from about 18 to about 30 feet deep on those gravel runouts, on those gravel humps. Work it slow, guys. And if you've got an area on a point that it rolls off, it's a little bit steeper on one side than on the other side, make sure you're working that roll-off side, because that seems to be where the better fish are. Seem to be hanging on those roll-offs, waiting, looking for bait coming down. Throw the football jig up there, work it slow on the bottom. We caught quite a few fish doing that last week from about Baxter up through Shell Knob on those main lake and some of the secondary gravel points up there. Seems like the fish are really keen to gravel up the White River right now. Guys, it is the first week of July, and it's hot as blazes again. Yay. It's hot, but man, the fish are biting. It's been a good week. Caught a lot of fish this past week. Had a real good trip yesterday. Kind of disappointed my folks called me last night and canceled the day because of the way they bit yesterday. I was really wanting to get back out there today. But we're catching a lot of fish. I mean, a lot of fish are being caught. Drop shot rig is just absolutely going crazy. Spoon's doing well. Little disappointed in the topwater bite, to be honest with you, just because it's not as good as I expect it to be. But you know, you'll have those days, usually 1 or 2 days a week, where you'll catch 10 to 15 first thing in the morning on the topwater. So it's worth having it tied on if you're going to go out, and you'll know pretty quick. You'll know within a few minutes, really, if these fish are going to come up and really start busting. You'll see them busting on shad, you'll see them swatting at your bait, or you'll catch a few in the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then you'll know it's worth spending your time fishing for it, or you need to go move off and maybe throw a swim bait or something else. But bite's been really good. Been busy. 7 days last week. I'm booked all the way through, I think, the 20th as of right now. So if you guys are thinking about booking a trip in July, get a hold of me, because I've got that last week, and that's really about it in July. August is pretty open, but you know, it'll fill up as well as we get the kids are out of school, and as the vacationers come to town, it's gonna fill up. So if you guys are coming down, maybe you want to learn how to drop shot. Now is an awesome time to come down and drop shot. We're catching so many fish on the drop shot, it's a blast. Maybe you want to learn how to spoon, maybe you want to learn how to throw a football jig. Whatever it is, if you want to come down, you want to catch some fish, maybe bought a lake house. The guys I took out yesterday, guy just moved down here from St. Louis, bought his lake house this summer. He's in the process of moving down. Had a great time. When he and his son went out with me, we caught a bunch of fish. Basically stayed in the area near his house, so he knows where to go fishing when he's here. But guys, if you're going to come down, you want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743, or hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email, book online, however you want to do it. Get in touch with me. We'll set up a date and time, go out, we'll catch some fish and have a good time. But guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to subscribe if you don't mind, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.